y'all, welcome back to my channel. It is Chris, and here we talk about business, candle making, and how to boss up. And today is definitely a boss up video. I wanted to have a heart to heart with you guys and talk about some of my business updates, some things that I've been struggling with, some things that I never want to ever happen again, and some things that may help you along on your process with your businesses. And yeah, I just felt compelled to share. I know it's been a while since y'all haven't seen me, but your girl has been focusing on her mental health, her physical health, and trying to live her best life, okay? I'm just trying to live out here, and I don't want to be burnt out. So in order for me not to be burnt out, I need to be present, focus, and really listen to myself when I need to take some time away. And I'm so glad that I took time away because I feel like I'm in a much better place. So here we are. But I definitely wanted to share some things with you. So let's go. Let's get into it. So some major things happened. I know in one of my last videos I may have mentioned to you guys that I got my first damaged order delivered, and it was like a really big order, a really big purchase, and it was something that like I never want to happen again. Of course, you can't prevent damages 1,000%, but it was a little bit embarrassing. It was like wholeheartedly embarrassing because this woman paid a lot of money for a lot of my products to use as gifts for a specific event. They arrived all damaged, and it was a lesson for me in how my packaging may not be the best, and it made me dive deeper into better ways to package and make sure that I am thinking about worst case scenario, especially if someone is purchasing from me. Not that I don't take pride in my business, but it was definitely like a lazy mistake of mine by trying to fit a lot of things in one box when I could have either had a better box, a bigger box, or split up the package in multiple boxes. It was definitely an experience. I had to ship out all new products to her that arrived perfectly, thankfully. But it was a major learning experience for me and something that I never, ever, ever want to experience again. And if you're watching, I'm so sorry. I don't think she's watching, but just in case, you never know. You never know who's lurking. You never know who's looking. But it was something that I feel like in business, there are some things that you have to go through in order to propel you and for you to learn from. And I was so sick. I never anticipated an order getting damaged during delivery. Like, I didn't anticipate what those emotions would feel like and how much pride I would take in like wanting to like make it right, make sure that someone was satisfied with my product, something that I made, and that they would pass along a good word that they had a good experience with my business. But it was something that definitely, I was literally sick to my stomach. I felt so sick because one, I didn't want that to be someone's first impression of my business, and also like I know what it's like to get an item that's damaged, and it's like heartbreaking. It's like, oh wow, I spent my money on this thing that I was really excited about, and now I have to wait for it to get resolved, and I hope that it gets resolved. Also, the way that she came to me was very stern, and I realized in that process that I learned that the return policy that was on my website wasn't inviting, and it wasn't written in a way that was going to be helpful. And I wrote that return policy knowing that I had to have a return policy, but not really thinking about how it may affect someone that is a customer reading it from a perspective of receiving a damaged item, or also receiving an item that they didn't like or unhappy with, or something happened along the way where they were dissatisfied, because I wasn't anticipating those things. I wasn't thinking about, if this happens, then what? But having gone through that experience, it allowed me to look at my business from a stranger's point of view and tweak some things to make the experience better for them. That's one. The next thing that I never want to happen again is not having enough stock. I ran into a scenario that I was refreshed about because someone wanted to order a bulk item or wanted to order a bulk order, and I wasn't able to deliver. And I was sick, y'all. I was so sick. Of course, the order had a fast turnaround, and I I tried to make it happen, but I didn't want to make any promises that I couldn't keep, which I'm grateful for. Because if I couldn't keep the promise, that would have been an even worse scenario, and it was a personal relationship situation. But it made me realize, like, I never want to be there. Granted, like, who has, like, I don't know, maybe small businesses do have, like, more than 50 items in stock, but I don't, because I just don't. Like, my orders ain't set up that way yet. I'm still building. I'm still trying to figure it out right now. But it is something that I realized, like, although, like, I order my labels from a third party. I don't make my labels yet. I'm still trying to figure out the best practice to print my own labels, cut my own labels, so that I don't have to rely on a third party. If that was the case, I probably would have been able to satisfy this order, but waiting on processing time and delivery time for my labels to get in time would have taken too much time. And I think it was a learning process for me to realize that, like, there's some things I need to tweak in my business, and, like, how much of my business is reliant on another business or another company to provide for me. Outside of my jars, outside of me actually making my candles, I should have a printer by now. I should learn by now the process to, like, make my own labels and go through that learning curve. I think I've been putting it off because it's just really convenient to not have to worry about if it doesn't come out right. And I'm just so scared of, like, things not coming out the way that I want them to come out. But I could probably be saving money if I just invested in a machine that could produce the labels that I need and want. And also, there would be a hell of a lot less waiting time because I wouldn't have to deal with delivery. And I think for me, I was just hurt. I was so shook because if I would have had my business in order, I would have been able to provide the bulk order that had come in to me. And I wasn't. And so it was a loss. It was definitely a loss. And I have to take that. And I have to look at my business and realize, like, there's some things that I could be doing better, but I'm not. And I have to evaluate, is this because, I don't have the capacity to do that right now because, I work a full-time job still? Or is it because I've been slacking and haven't made the time to make the things that I need to happen? And I have to have a real conversation with myself about things that are in my willpower to do. Am I not able to do it, or am I just too lazy to do it? And it's a little bit of both, but, we're pushing through it, and I'm learning through it. And I think that because I feel a little fortunate to have people who, like, do support me and, like, are willing to invest in my business in some ways. I'm glad that it's people that I know that are having these, I'm, like, having these growing pains with, because it is allowing me to step back, look at my business, and get tighten up. Another update is I just launched a new season. It's called the Good Day Collection. If you have visited my website, here's a candle right here. I just happen to have one here. And I have little quotes on here. I am a writer, so I have been really getting into my bag about what are my skills that I have outside of candle making, and how can I optimize those skills to use in my business. One thing that I want to lean more into is my writing. And most of marketing is telling a story. There are thousands of shoe brands, there are thousands of car brands, there are thousands of hair care products, eyelashes, mascara. But what sets them apart from each other is the story they tell and the message that they convey to make people connect with it. And as you all know, if you have a candle business or whatever type of business you have, there's a ton of people doing the same thing that you're doing. But what's really going to set you apart is the story, the messaging, the images that you provide to the people that do subscribe to your social media platforms. Like, you're really your job is to tell the story. Your job is to engage more people, not just satisfy the people that you already have that are subscribed to your channels. And so one thing that I want to lean more into is my writing skills and my creativity skills, and just like, looking at my business from an artist's lens instead of a business lens, and like breaking all the barriers that previously prevented me from feeling like I could like mesh the two. And I'm sure all you guys probably have multiple talents and multiple things that you do. And if you don't, you can still learn, you can still figure out ways to be creative, and you can still tell your business's story without having anything to integrate into it. But I think if you do have something to integrate into your business, it's a great tool to help propel and become relatable, or even help you find your niche and your customer market, because everyone may not be your customer market. If you make those cute like Starbucks candles, or if you make the body candles, or if you make the whatever candles you make, like every candle isn't for everyone. So figuring out how to narrow in on those people that may be interested and how to speak to them, right? It's like a relationship. Everybody doesn't work out, okay? Everybody doesn't work out, and everyone you don't have that chemistry with, okay? So I feel like marketing is figuring out the chemistry that you can build with the people that are your target and drawing them in. It's like a sign. It's like, hey, I'm for you. Are you for me? Because I'm for you. I think I'm for you. I think I like you. And so I want to lean into my writing skills, my storytelling skills, and like really tell a story with my brand. And how do I do that? I'm figuring it out, and I'm down to show you guys along on my process. A part of that process is me planning my social media ahead of time to make sure that I am like hitting on the key things that I feel my brand stands for, and also making sure that everything is cohesive ahead of time before introducing it into the world. And yeah, just paying attention, being intentional. That's my main goal this quarter. Like, be intentional, set small goals, don't forget about your goals. And I think that's the main thing that I have been learning while I've been gone, and focusing on myself, my mental health, but also knowing that in the back of my mind is my business and what I want my business to stand for. So I hope this update helps, or if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave me a comment below. But most importantly, I think on your journeys, I know I have a lot of new people and people that want to start candle businesses. I think the most important part is, like, I say this all the time, like, know why you're starting it. Know that, like, things are going to get difficult. You're going to feel overwhelmed. You're not going to have the answers all the time. And, like, you may not have a support system in your process. And if you do, like, kudos to you. But if you don't, that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. That doesn't mean you shouldn't go after something, because who knows, it might work. And so I'm going to leave you guys with that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. You told me I could trust you. Don't lie. I could really